I drove 6 hours to pick up this Lincoln Electric wire feeder, and I can't tell you how excited I was when I brought it home. And found out it was dead. Well, you know your purchase has gone well when it looks like this. We're currently 2 levels deep on the obscure history of this machine. The guy I bought it from was told that the power unit was single phase, or could be wired for single phase, and it could not. He didn't have 3-phase. He was never able to plug his power source in, and subsequently he had 2 of these LN7s and wasn't able to test and see if these work. The first thing we needed to do was get it powered up. You can see I've got a old extension cord with some connectors that were slightly crimped to go into the pins into the back. Would highly suggest getting the correct connectors. You can see there I've just plugged them into C and D, which is the 115 volt AC input. Got everything hooked up, and the contactors or relay, whatever that is, would close sometimes or occasionally, but I couldn't get any DC voltage out of the board that feeds the motor. I wanted to test the motor, make sure it was good. It's fine. I just hooked it up to a power supply, but you can see the board was pretty crispy. Of course, it's not going to be that easy as, just replacing the couple of obviously burnt parts, but you got to start somewhere. So replaced those, plugged it back in, still didn't work. It seemed like the AC was flowing in through the board where it needed to, and it seemed to stop right at the bridge rectifier. I didn't know whether it was one of the diodes on the bridge rectifier or the capacitor that comes right after that helps smooth the DC out. Parts were cheap and I had the board out, so I replaced all of them. I'm hoping that was it and there's not a problem downstream that's, I don't know, maybe in my testing I missed something. I don't know. Let's see though. Okay, so the board is live and powered up now. I'm hoping all we do is pull the trigger here and that motor goes. No way! Oh, that is awesome. Okay, that was it, I guess. Bridge rectifier and filter capacitor. We should see if the rheostat works too. Oh yeah. Okay. That is awesome. All right. Don't make fun of me. I'm really excited to try this out. We've got our 115 volt line voltage coming in, so the box should work. The gas solenoid I did test is working, but don't have a way to hook it up right now. I need some parts for that. I found some crappy flux core wire I threw in here and kind of rigged up my own little holder. I don't know. We'll see if that works. It's still running the 045 rollers. This is 030, I believe. But it seems to work. Man, I really can't believe this works. I mean, when I bought it, I assumed it worked, but we know how that went. Again, just super excited to try this. We'll get it fixed up right, though. For now, I've just cut a piece of angle iron and bolted it in. This is where a lead supposed to go. For now, we'll just hook up the electrode holder, clamp it on like that. I know, not great, but let's see if this works. Another issue we're going to have is my welder is electrically live all the time, which means when I let go of the trigger on the gun, the wire will stop, but the electricity will keep going. So I imagine it's just going to burn back up into the gun. What I'm hoping is I can keep the trigger down and then just whip it away. Again, we're just seeing if this works. We've made things a little bit more permanent. I don't know about better. But we've got our repaired circuit board back in. We've got an extension cable that's come in with a strain relief. We've got our ground connected up, and we were able to find the input to the fuse for the hot leg, and the neutral comes into this resistor here. Because I went through where the 6-pin connector was, I've just got that taped up. And then here we've had a short cable made up. We'll just clip our electrode holder onto this, and it just runs into here. That's where it makes contact with the gun and the liner. And we're currently running 045 Excel Arc 71, so that's a dual shield wire. We've got to wait for a decent hour to fire up the engine drive though, but I think we're ready to try it for real this time. Well, I don't know what I was expecting, but that went way better than I could have imagined. Really happy we finally figured out what was wrong with this and was able to get it fixed pretty quickly. Besides the mental gymnastics we had to do to figure out what was wrong with it, I think I'm into this $12 in, small electronic parts. And I guess that was just to get it fixed. I did end up getting a new regulator just so I had one for this machine, and then a cable made up. But this thing, man, if you saw my last video, how much I love this thing. I really love it now. So there's one thing we did not do to this that we maybe should, but I haven't run into any issues yet. This is supposed to have contactors somewhere in the system. And I think traditionally they're on the power source side. This currently is electrically live the second you turn it on. This is expecting the constant voltage power source only when the trigger on the gun is pulled. Lincoln does make a contact kit. That's well out of our budget. That's not ever going to happen. I did dig this up from what was it? Ideal Arc. I think it was a TIG 300 Ideal Arc. This is a contactor set. Came out of that. Thought I could salvage it. Turns out this is way overkill and way too big for what we need. And honestly, I didn't notice too much of an issue. I was conscious of, making sure I had maybe a little bit longer of a stick out when I finished a weld and maybe whipped the gun away. For as little as I'm probably going to use this, might just leave it. Which brings me to my next point. This was super fun to try out. I've always wanted to know if this would power a wire feeder. Now we know. I don't know what I'm going to use this on though. Most of the MIG work I do is in the shop already. If I'm using this, I'm normally out in the field running stick electrodes, on farm machinery that should have been scrapped 3 decades ago. So I hope I get to use this. What project should I be considering this for that maybe I'm not? I don't know. I guess you could subscribe to see if this ever gets used in real life. Maybe this was just a fun experiment. I don't know. We'll see. Either way, thanks for watching. Hopefully this has been somewhat useful for you.